Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining. This is the access control training session this morning. So we're going to just do access control. What we've done initially, I wanted to do the access control alarm and video intercom together, but I think it would have kept you too long. So what we've done is we split it into two. So today we'll be focusing on access control only, and then next week we'll do intercom and alarm together. So anyway, welcome. Thank you very much for joining. And let's then start with the access control. Let me see my laser pointer there. All right, so let's quickly have a look and see what we have in store for you regarding access control. All right, so there's a couple of products that we have, not just limited to that. We've actually got a whole bunch of them. So let's quickly have a look and see what are the key features, what are the key products, and how you can benefit from them, as well as the kind of solutions that you can provide. All right, so just quickly having a look at some of the products and the capacity or the capabilities, basically. So we've got different ranges, so from a smaller range to larger ranges that we have on top here. So the bottom one is more for your distribution, so like your everyday type of use, and then we go from there on to project levels, where we've got, like this one, got 3,000 faces compared to the 1,500 faces that the face terminal can handle. And we go all the way up to 20,000 faces. So it depends on how many faces you want to register into the system, but these terminals can go up to 20,000 faces. But yeah, there's different uses for different products. So let's quickly have a look at that as well. All right, so if we look at a face recognition terminal, we know that a terminal is basically a reader and controller all in one. So it's everything built into one. You don't need to rely on another controller that this connects to. You can, however, make this part of a larger system, but it can also be used as a standalone type of terminal or controller, if you will. What you can do is normally you put this on the outside of the door that you want to control the access of, and then you can add another reader on the inside for people to be able to get out again. And then this, if you want to have it used as an online system, you can have a IVMS 4200 or Hikvision as a backend system, but you can also run the system offline. So after you've used your 4200, you programmed and enrolled everybody, whatever, you can remove your laptop or whatever. So it can be like a standalone system and can run offline. So let's quickly have a look and see what makes face recognition so good. All right, so the main problem there is that we normally have issues with cards. Cards get lost and all those kind of things, and especially these days, we're trying to get away from, touching things, so cards and fingers and so forth. Although we still have the products, but maybe it's safer just to look at the facial recognition type of thing. We're also going to look at the rest of the range that we do have, so just bear with me. All right, so no more worries about cards getting lost. The recognition rate on these for facial recognition is less than 0.2 seconds per user. So it's quite quick. It's not going to cause any bottlenecking and things like that. Anti-spoofing detection we have built in, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the safety aspect of it. Multi-authentication mode, like face, fingerprint, and card. So if COVID is finished or whatever, and COVID is done out of our hair, then we can go back to a higher security level where we can compare faces, fingerprints, and cards, or combination thereof, for access controlling. We also have time and attendance built into the system, so this can run your time and attendance. And we also have the e-home protocols, and also third-party integration that can be done. So the e-home protocol, I'm going to show you in a moment or two what this actually means. All right, easy use with new features. So we've got a HeConnect app integration into it, video intercom function, which is actually quite cool, web configuration, self-defined voice prompts, and standby picture. And it's also IP65. So this can go outdoors, although we would recommend just putting up a rain shield so that the lenses of the camera don't get dirty from droplets and dust and those kind of things, to make sure that your facial recognition happens properly. All right. Now, if we look at facial recognition with obviously the latest deep learning technology that we've got built in, this up the accuracy up to about 80%. So it's 80% more accurate using deep learning technology. So I'm going to quickly show you the little video, and you'll see here that the recognition rate is less than 0.2 seconds per person. So let me quickly just show you this video. Now, before I start it, you'll see that this person is standing in front of the terminal, but he's obscuring his face, just to show you how quick it does recognize the face. So just keep that in mind.
Thank you.
All right, so that is quite quick that it does facial recognition And obviously the verification speed and all those kind of things is way faster now with the deep learning technology. All right. Another thing that a lot of people have struggled with is darkness. So if you go into the office or exit the office when it's dark, you don't have enough light and those kind of things, that might be a problem, especially for facial recognition. But we looked at that and we built in some infrared illumination there, as well as we optimized some of the cameras. So you see that there's 2 lenses there, but I'm going to get to that in a second or two. So here's another little video to show you what it does in a dark area.
Authenticated.
All right, so you can see the facial recognition is still very, very quick, even in darker situations, because of the illumination that we have provided in the unit itself. All right, another problem that that a lot of people are faced with is anti-spoofing. Now, the problem is that some people will be able to take a picture of a person's face that is authorized in the system and then hold that up to the system, the facial terminal, and then get access. Now, that is a big problem. So again, we've overcome that because we've got the dual lenses here. So we combine the face data from the IR camera. So we've got a specific camera there for infrared parts, and then obviously a normal camera. So the two combined, those 2 sources determines if it's from a real person. So just to give you a quick idea, this lady here is going to have a picture of possibly herself, hold it up into in front of her face, and then the system, you'll see, will not authorize her. So let me start that video for you. Okay, it does not want to authorize at all, but if she removes it,
Authenticating failed.
Authenticating failed. All right, so the system detects that it is not a real person's face and therefore will not do authentication, will not allow you through the door. Okay, and another feature that we have is a video intercom function. So built into these units, we have a video intercom integration. And to show you how it works, we've got a little video. The main idea is that staff will be able to enter the premises with their faces and fingerprints and cards, or whichever a combination you choose of it. But if a visitor should enter or try to enter the same door and so forth, obviously they will not be allowed in. But that's why we've got the video intercom part built in, so that they can actually call the reception from there for assistance. So there we can see the indoor module as well as the internet app will respond to that. You can answer, you can open up the door from wherever, and obviously I have a 2-way audio communication.
Please talk.
Okay, so video intercom built into the system so that you can use these devices at a single door entrance where your staff as well as visitors need to have access to. Your staff will obviously be authenticated the ways that you choose, but visitors, obviously, we want to query first before we're going to let them in, and therefore the video intercom integration. All right, on the previous slide, we showed you the Hikvision app integration as well, but I'm going to show you in a little bit more detail. So we can view the live camera from here. We've got remote access control, so we can open the doors and all those kind of things, as well as get some logs of, you know, when the doors opened, etc., who had access and whatever, those kind of things. So let me quickly show you the video of that as well. So if a person doesn't have access, they could call the person, or they could use the built-in video intercom functionality. And then from the app, they could then remotely open the door. So you don't have to wait for the call to be initiated from the intercom. You can immediately open up your Hikvision app and then grant access directly from there. Okay. All right, face module for barrier gates. So barrier gates or swing gate barriers or turnstiles, those kind of things is normally high volume and so forth. So we need to be able to authenticate people much faster, making sure there's no backlogs or bottlenecking of people maybe entering a factory or things like that. So we've got the 5671 series. You can see we've got different kinds of brackets for these units. So they can be used in different applications or different devices. So here we've got them bundled with the Hikvision swing gate barriers, but you can use them for third-party barriers of whatever kind, so turnstiles or swing gates or whatever you want to. Let's have a look at the video. So you can see there's no little bottlenecking over there. We do the authentication. All right, so it's got the same built-in illumination, so we can see that it overcomes darkness. You can actually see the lighting from these units over here. There's third-party integration that you can do. It's got the standard Wigan output if you have another third-party controller that you want to link it to. So let's say you've got an access control system, a third-party system that doesn't have a facial recognition terminal of some sorts. You could use ours for facial recognition and use the Wigan output to output information through to the third-party controller to do authentication if you'd like. All right, now I told you earlier that I'll show you exactly what the eHome protocol does. eHome allows you to stack these or stagger them across wherever you'd like to, a country, the world, wherever you want to, and all talking back to the same backend system where you can manage everything from. So you can enroll your people, you can get your logs, you can get all the transactions, all those kind of things from a central point using the eHome protocol. So these devices will communicate back to our eHome platform. The Central or 4200 will also talk to the eHome platform, and that's where you'll get your communication. So very similar to HikConnect, but obviously it's a different kind of a platform. All right, so this is in place and makes it much more flexible. You don't have to have a system, a backend system on every site. You can have all these devices communicate back via the eHome protocol, making it much more flexible. All right, let's quickly have a look at the comparison between some of these products we just looked at. So we've got, let me just get the laser pointer there again. All right, so we've got the value series. So the value series, we can see we've got face, card, and fingerprint options in them. All of these devices will do M1, so MiFi 1 cards. Some of the devices do have an optional Wi-Fi. Touch screens throughout, so the 4.3 inch, you can see this device is quite small as well. IP65, although we have this one that's IP, it's meant for indoor purposes. eConnect app supported for all of those. And then obviously face recognition distance. So from 0.3 meters all the way up to 1.5 on that one there, up to 3 meters over here. And then face recognition, you can see throughout the whole system in less than 0.2 seconds. Wigan interface also supported throughout, so that means you can integrate it with a third-party access controller. Now, the swing gate barrier, it's mainly meant for swing gate barriers, but like I said, you can also use it for third-party turnstiles and so forth. They only do facial recognition. There's no card supported in this because our swing gate barrier already has a card reader built in. Does support Wi-Fi. It's a 7-inch touchscreen. It supports video intercom function, IP65. There's no HikConnect for this because it's a little bit more specialized, but the rest is all the same. Okay, so now that you've got a better idea of what they are, let's carry on to the next page. Okay, if we look at fingerprint terminals, like this guy over here, a very, very popular unit in South Africa. This is the K1T804. There's a fingerprint or biometric as well as card and PIN. It's got the nice LCD on it so that you can also do time and attendance on this device. Very similar to the face terminal, you can also link up another card reader to it. It's got the lock control, everything like the other unit that I mentioned before. Again, it can be used as a standalone device, which means that you use a 4200 or Hikcentral to configure it with, but it doesn't have to be online all the time. So you can have it run as an offline system. All right, so fingerprint, big capacity. I think this guy does about 3,000 fingerprints, very competitive price, and I think that's why it's so popular in South Africa as well. Multiple authentication modes, so fingerprint and cards can be used. I think the languages, we don't really care as long as it's got English for our market. And there's multiple interfaces for external devices. So you've got your lock control there, you've got your reader controls, and so forth. Okay, a quick idea of our fingerprint terminals, product family over there. So we've got the Ultra series over here. This does up to about 5,000 fingerprints. This is the K1T501. So you can see it's got a 2 megapixel IP camera built in there. So that can be used for NVR video recording. So these devices you can import into your NVR and use it as if it's a normal IP camera. Wi-Fi built in there, can take an SD card in it, IP65. You can put it into reader mode, which means that you can use this device as a reader instead of a terminal if you have another controller that you want to connect it to. And it also has a video intercom function built in. Then if we look at the Ultra series, another Ultra series that also 5,000 fingerprints in this device over here. This is also an access control terminal, 2 megapixel camera, Wi-Fi, reader mode, face detection. So not face recognition, okay, just face detection, which means that every time that there's a transaction, I put my finger, my card, my whatever, it takes a little snapshot of my face for later verification if you'd like. And then we go to the Pro series. This is the guy that's so popular in South Africa, 3,000 fingerprints on this. Access control, time and attendance terminal. So time and attendance, actually time and attendance in these guys over here as well. E-home protocol in there, mobile app control for the 804A, this guy here. And it's also got a Wigan and RS485 interface. So the RS485 will use for another reader on the inside. Okay, then the value series, up to 1,000 fingerprints here. Also time and attendance functionality built into them and much the same features. All right, so you can see we've got quite a few devices that can be used for your market. Another way to make life a lot simpler is to remember one product code. So the one product code, this is a kit. So this kit includes the fingerprint terminal, the 804, like we just mentioned. It's got the push button for exiting. It's got a single door magnetic lock. So your mag lock is included in here, as well as the lock bracket. So it's a single kit, makes it easier to buy, makes it easier to know that you've got everything that you need to go and install. So a nice retail box over there. It's a very, very popular item as well. All right, so the fingerprint terminals, I think we have gone through most of these functions and so forth. Another thing, because I mentioned that it can run as an offline system, I had a question from a client the other day to say, but what if there's network outage between my terminal and my backend system, my backend software? So these devices do have capacity built into them to record all the transaction logs or event logs. You can see from 10,000 up to 100,000, 200,000 and 300,000 on those two over there. So let's say there's network outage. As I mentioned, these guys can run offline because your database sits on the device, it's downloaded to the device itself. Whenever your backend reconnects again, maybe you've fixed the network switch that was faulty or whatever the case might be, these devices will then dump the information back to your backend system. So no worries there. You will always have access to your information. All right, multi-door controller introduction. Let's quickly have a look. This is our K26 series, K26 something. So this goes from a 1-door, 2-door, and a 4-door controller. And it's got both Wigan and RS485 interfaces. Again, it can run offline if you'd like. You don't have to have an online system the whole time. But very similar to the terminals, got capacity to record all the transactions. If your network returns back to normal after, let's say, maybe outage or whatever, it will dump the information back there. All right, so why is this professional access control? It's IP-based. It's got a battery backup built in. Can do control of multiple doors. It's got a fire alarm relay built in, as well as it does Wigan protocol. So it does both Wigan and RS485. Advanced access functions, so you can program your anti-passback so nobody can loan their card or whatever to open up for a buddy. Interlocking, so we can do multi-door interlocking or man traps, if you will. That's typically for your banks or your control rooms where you need to have interlocking doors. So it's got the function for that. Multiple authentication. So you can say, right, for multiple authentication, I need to have, let's say, a bank safe as an example. You need to have 3 or 4 people there at the same time for the door to open. So 3 or 4 different people need to swipe their cards, their fingers, or whatever the case might be before the door will open. So you have that option built in there as well. You can do event linkage with it. First card authentication, which means that This is the guy that will open up the office in the morning, so nobody else can enter unless this person has been there. So that's your first card. But you can also say first card remain open, which means that, let's say you've got an open day, you're inviting a whole lot of customers to your office for a show and tell or whatever the case might be. You can swipe this card, and then you can, within the programming, you can tell this, if the card is swiped, keep the store open for 2 or 3 hours without making an alarm. So normally you get an alarm, a door held open alarm after about 30 seconds. But if you do this over here, then you can pre-program it to keep the door open maybe for 5 or 10 hours, or whichever way you'd like. All right, third-party integration. Also, we are very pro for third-party integration. And also, we've moved over to an OSDP communication now. So that is a little bit more secure communication for this as well. Flexible transmission. We've got the network connection to your backend system, RS485, as well as eHome 5 to your backend system. So again, you can stagger this across your country, across your branches, and have it talk back to one central controlling point, whether that is 4200 or Hik Central. All right, let's quickly have a look. We've got 2 variants of this, the K26 series with a T and K26G. The difference is there basically is the T has got the OSDP interface now, and eHome is now built into that as well. You get them in a 1, 2, and a 4-door. So just to give you an idea of the model number, it'll be 2601 for the 1-door, or 2602 for the 2-door, 2604 for the 4-door. And the same goes for this guy over here. All right. So UL 294 certification there, board protected cover. So we've changed the design on the inside a little bit, bigger dimension, so slightly bigger. It makes it a little bit easier to work there. It's got LED indicator, as you can see on the outside there. And we've got standard connectors there to make it easier for your wiring. If we look at some readers, this is not all of them. We've got a whole bunch of them. So our readers will also now support OSDP. That is a 2-wire communication, but with extra security. And then we've got IK10 versions as well, so a little bit more vandal-proof on them. And then the biometric readers as well. And all of these are IP65. We do have some readers that are only IP64, but most of our readers are IP65 supported. Some exit buttons from your no touch to the touch buttons. So we have both series there. And if we look at the issuers now, we've got a nice little new unit that does that we use for enrollment. So this unit does face and fingerprint and card enrollment. So from one device, which makes it a lot easier. You don't have to scramble around for a USB enrollment unit for the cards, and maybe another one for the fingerprints, and another thing for the faces, whatever. You can use one unit, which means that everything, including the face, will be the correct quality for the system to recognize. Okay, so USB or Wi-Fi options in this unit, so making it very, very user-friendly and easy to use. All right, let's quickly have a look at the Minmo touch-free face recognition. It is basically what we have discussed, but I'd like to introduce the temperature screening devices as well. So this is the device that we've spoken about earlier. So the 671 is a new series. You have 2 options in this guy here. So you have one without biometric, you can see there, or the one with a biometric unit. Okay, so the biometric unit is this guy here, KAB671F if you'd like. There's a rain shield for it, as well as a floor standing bracket. So if you want to put it down maybe in the reception to check all the people that comes into your office, or get them to maybe clock in or something like that, you have a floor standing bracket as well. So some of the stuff that we have already discussed, just to quickly go over it again: face anti-spoofing, so you can't hold up a picture anymore to get authenticated. Face recognition in less than 0.2 seconds per user. Recognition distance 0.3 to 3 meters from it. And we have the HikConnect integration, the illumination already built in web configuration, as well as got the video intercom functionality built into the unit. And then obviously we do provide protocols for third-party integration. Now this guy here has got a 7-inch touch screen, up to 6,000 faces, 6,000 cards, or 5,000 fingerprints. It depends if you take the unit with or without the biometric there. And then the T series, so you can see this guy with a T in there, goes up to 50,000 faces and 50,000 cards and 5,000 fingerprints. So this is a nice upgrade if the 20,000 that we've spoken before spoken of before is not enough. So this guy goes up to 50,000. All right, a little bit more value series over here, and in most cases it's still enough because this guy does 1,500 faces or 1,500 cards, or the same for the fingerprints. It's an IP65 unit, so you can mount this outside. It's got a 4.3-inch touch screen, and it's got a 2-megapixel wide-angle dual lens for the spoofing part, and also proper WDR built in, so a very, very good light handling. All right, and basically the same functionality for the rest, except for the recognition distance is only up to 1.5 meters from the unit, but that still is okay for social distancing. All right, let's quickly have a look at the temperature screening model. So if you have joined some of our webinars before, throughout lockdown, whatever, you probably know this guy very well, but I'm just going to quickly introduce it anyway, in case you missed it. All right, so flexible deployment, which means that we have a wall mounting options. We've got a floor standing bracket, as well as a desktop mounting bracket. So it makes it easier, especially for you if you would like to screen people as they come into your place of business. All right, so we've got a 7-inch touch screen there. Gives you visible results, which means that on screen, it'll show you your name, as well as your temperature. If you're wearing a mask, it's got the audio prompts built in. So this unit actually talks to you. So it does the mask detection, like I mentioned, and it will not authenticate you depending on how you configure it. It'll not authenticate you if you're not wearing a mask. Let's say all the rest is okay, but you told the unit to not authenticate according, if the person is not wearing a mask, it will not open the door. But you've got combinations of how you can configure this. So you can force people to wear masks, or if you don't really worry about masks, you can let that go. But again, there's a whole bunch of configuration options for you over there. All right, so the measuring temperature, where we get the temperature from is the forehead. So these guys have been optimized to do forehead temperature, because the forehead is probably the closest area of your body that has the closest temperature to your core temperature. So that's why we measure foreheads. All right, and obviously we do the face detection there. All right, so then touch-free temperature. So it means that you've got your social distancing. You don't have to employ a person to sit there and measure everybody's temperature, getting up to a few centimeters to a person, measuring it with a IR thermometer. This guy does it from far away, so all the way up to 2 meters there. And then this unit can be installed from 1.4, actually authentication height for people up from 1.4 to 1.9 meters, obviously depending on the height of installation. Excuse me. All right, high accuracy when it comes to the temperature screening part. So this device is optimized to measure between 30 and 45 degree human body temperatures. The accuracy on this is about 0.1 degrees, and deviation up to about 0.5. So it's got a bit of a tolerance built in there. But what's very important is that these units, although they are IP65, it is important to install them indoors, because the sun, wind, rain, those kind of things can affect your skin surface temperature. So make sure that these guys are inside and not in direct sunlight or breezes or things like that, because that could affect your skin surface temperature. All right. Now, you can see there, as I mentioned, it's optimized to measure forehead temperature. Although this guy is holding up a hot cup of coffee or something, or hot water, close to his face, it measures still his forehead temperature. So again, optimized for that there. Recognition distance up to actually about 2 meters over there. And for temperature screening as well as face recognition, allow about 1 second per person. But 1 second per person for both those functions is really not much, which means that, again, bottlenecking should not happen. These are the brackets that I spoke of earlier. So you've got the floor standing bracket, you've got the desktop mounted bracket, and then we also have the standard bracket that comes with it for wall mounting scenarios. Authentication modes that I've spoken of before, you can do authentication just by scanning or checking people. Just do the temperature check. So it doesn't have to be a face that's maybe registered in the system. If the temperature is okay, you can allow them into your building. Or you can set it up to do temperatures and masks. So I don't really care if it's a stranger or not, maybe a visitor. As long as their temperature is okay and they are wearing a mask, you can do authentication. Or you can go over to maybe just facial authentications. So authenticate a person opening up the door just by using their faces, or face and temperature, or face mask and temperature. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of options that you can use to use for authentication. All right, let's quickly have a look. Okay, that got a bit late. All right, so let's quickly have a look at some solutions where and how it can be used. So as I mentioned, we can use this unit with a wall mounting bracket, typically at your front door or something like that. That can communicate back to the backend system, but we also have a tablet option, very similar to an intercom a unit, but it's not exactly the same device, but it can communicate back to that so that the guard or whoever is checking people can then override it, authenticate it, or maybe open up the door. But there's a visual for them to check people and screen them as they come in. All right, then we have this unit with a floor standing bracket. So this could be anywhere inside, maybe at your reception or something like that. You can also have your tablet mounted over there. Another option is this maybe on the receptionist desk. So with a desk mount bracket, again, it can be, you can have the tablet mode. So the tablet mode is optional. You don't have to use it, but it's a very nice unit to use for authentication for the person behind the desk to see what's happening on the screen of the Minmo terminal itself. All right, so just a quick rundown again, just to check the product family. So the K1T671, that is your normal Minmo terminal without the temperature screening, a very popular product with or without the biometrics. I'm not going to go through all the specs again, but they can also do mask detection and so forth. Then if we look at this guy over here, this is for your barrier controls or turnstiles and so forth. So face recognition terminal, high volumes, 20,000 faces in this guy, 100,000 event storage built into the unit itself. Okay. Then if we look at the 341, it's a little bit smaller unit that I mentioned before. It's a very, very nice unit. It's slightly larger than your cell phone, basically, just to give you an idea of what it looks like or the size of it. 1,500 faces, again, that's normally enough for amounts of people inside a building. So that is a very good unit to use. It's got the anti-spoofing and everything we spoke about earlier. All right, so it's IP65, can be mounted outside, but again, I would just recommend some kind of a rain shield just to keep those camera lenses clear. And the 642 is even a smaller module. It's a very, very small module, but this has got a capacity of up to 6,000 faces, 10,000 cards, and 5,000 fingerprints. It's got the deep learning. So all these guys have got deep learning algorithms built in for the anti-spoofing and so forth, making sure that we have an image there of a real person. Okay, this guy's indoor use only. So it's a very nice unit for authentication or clocking in and those kind of things. And then this guy that we spoke of last, actually, we spoke of both of these last. This is a very, very popular product because it does a temperature screening. This is a 671 TM3XF. Now, the 3XF there is your giveaway to know that you've got the temperature screening. You can see like this one does not have the 3XF. Oh, excuse me, does not have the 3XF there. So the 3XF tells you that it's a temperature screening device. It's got the thermal camera built in there. All right. And then we've got this unit here. It's a little bit more cost-effective unit. It's very similar to the Minmo we've got over there with the additional thermal camera there, but a little bit more cost-effective, the K1T A70, which is this guy here. And again, for both these units, you've got the same types of brackets, both your desktop mount, your standalone bracket, your floor standing bracket, as well as the wall mounted bracket. All right, so that's in a nutshell our temperature screening and our normal access control and readers and terminals and all those kind of things. So what we've got next is Damon. Damon is going to take us through some operation to show us how to operate these devices, how to use them. So please stay with us and let's quickly have a look and see what Damon can offer us. Damon, are you there? Are you ready?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. You can go ahead.
Okay. Okay, hello guys. Let me first show you our access controller. The model is DS-K2604. Also, another model is our facial recognition. I just use the old one, but the normal one currently is the K1T671, and I just use the 607 for demonstration. First, let's add the device to the 4200 software. When we add the device, we can go to the access control. We can set the template for the device, such as if we have holiday, we just set the holiday template. Also, the template will have the all day authorized, also the all day denied. You can edit this based on the real project. Also, we have the authorization. We can choose we can make a different access group, such as we can add a group which name, such as we can name it test one. We can also we can choose the template, and then we choose the person. After that, we choose select the access point, which means if we choose this access point, this person have the permission for this access point. If we choose those access points, this person will have those permission. I just configuration it before. This what I configured. I make a permission for all the dots, so I have a permission to open all of them. After we configuration the access group, and then we just need to apply to the device. Here we can see two modules. First one is apply all to device, and the second one is apply change to device. If we first use this device, we should use apply all to the device. After that, if we want to add some person, or if we want to add some permission for this person, we just need apply change to the device. The difference between those two models is apply all will delete all the data from the device and then apply again. But apply changes only apply the changes to the device. Also, we can see the advanced function, the device permission, the device parameters. We can rename the device the door name. You can name any door you want. Here you just name it. Also, the remain open and closed, which means you can set a schedule to let the door open or closed. Also, the multiple factor, the different factor authentication. You can set any authentication you want. Customize the wagon, which means our device supports third party wagon reader. You can input the third party wagon parameters here. Also, the authentication, we can see we have a lot of authentication models, such as card or card plus PIN fingerprint or the fingerprint plus card. So you can configure any authentication model you want. You can choose the authentication model here. You can choose any authentication model you want. Also, the elevate configuration, which means our device can work with the elevator. First person in, this function is you can illuminate a car to that person. When that person in, the door will be open the certain minutes. Here the minutes you can see here. Also, our device support anti-passback. Also, the motor door interlock. Also, the authentication code. This all the function you can configure here. Also, the linkage configuration, you can linkage such as linkage with the camera or linkage chorus responding relay. You can linkage any function you want. Okay, here in the system, we need add the person in the system. We can add the person such as the person ID is the default. We don't need to change it. Just input your name and select the gender. Also the car valid period. We can add the card by the remote way or by the local. If we choose local, we should use our card enrollment station. If we enrollment card by the card reader, we just choose the card reader what we have already installation. Here I just choose the 607, so we can use this device to enrollment the card. Let me just have a try. Due to I have already it, so in the future, if you want to edit card, we just use these two ways. Or can edit card. Also the face, we can edit the face. If our device supports the face, we just edit the face by here. What's wrong? I don't know. Here we can upload the face, or we can also take a photo. We can also use the remote collection way to illuminate the face. Here I just choose one device. Oh, sorry.
Damon, sorry. It looks like your screen is frozen. Don't you want to stop the sharing and just share it again, if you don't mind? There we go.
Okay, let me just share again, okay?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, here we just add the person again. And then if we want to add a face, we have three ways: upload, take photo, or remote collection. Here, because we have already have a device here, so I just use the remote collection way to add the face. And what's wrong? Sorry, I think.
With Zoom, Damon, I've seen this before, that Zoom does not quite like the extra window pop-ups. Unless you maybe, instead of sharing this screen, you share your desktop. I think that will work, and then we can see all the windows.
Okay, maybe let me just use my mobile phone. Okay. Oh, shit. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Damon, we can see and we can hear we can hear you and we can see your mobile phone screen.
I don't know if it's clear or not. Not very clear.
I think it is okay. Just maybe mute your laptop audio, because I think there's a little bit of feedback from your laptop.
Okay, let me just close the slides. Can you hear?
Yes, we can, but just maybe mute your laptop audio, because we can hear the feedback from your laptop audio.
Okay, okay. Okay. Is it fine currently?
It's a little better. I think we can carry on like this, yes?
Okay. Here we can. No.
No, there's feedback. Just mute your laptop speaker and microphone maybe, and then just use your phone audio.
Okay, I think it should be fine currently. Okay, how's it?
Yes, there we go. That's much better.
Okay. Here we can see if you want to add a face, it have two way we can add it. Upload, take photo, also remote collection. Here because I use our 607 face terminal, so we just use the remote collection. And then we can choose the face terminal. Here we just click this camera, which will let us collection. On the terminal, it will show us here, and then we can put our face. Such as this, it will collect your face and edit. So this add person. Here and then I will show you how to control the access controller, also the face terminal. In the monitor, we can remote to open the door, such as unlock. The door will be locked. When I click here, you can see on the device delay. So we can open the door on the software itself. Also, we can open the door locally. Also, here we can see all the access, all the details, which color or which one open the door. And then let's do the facial terminal. You can see this terminal, we can use the face to open the door. We can also use the card.
Authenticated.
We can also use my fingerprint.
Authenticated.
So this is the authentication way. I set my face, my card, or my fingerprint. You can also combine them together to open the door. I'll just quick have a show our access controller. We can see this controller, the name is 2604, which means this device has 4 relay. 1, 2, 3, 4. This 4 relay control 4 doors. And this is the interface for the corridor or lock, also the exit button. Also this we can connect with the fire alarm interface. For our access controller, we can connect if we use RS485 protocol, we can connect 8 corridor. If we use weekend corridor, we can connect 4 weekend corridor here. And then I will use my laptop to share the report for you. Wait a moment. Stop sharing.
Yeah, I think you need to. What you need to do, Damon, is just stop this. There we go. Yes. Okay. We can see your laptop screen.
Okay. Here I will show you we can go to the event center to export the report. What we do before. Here we can see the object name, entrance, or it also shows the access point, also the event details. You can export the report here and export all or export only logo or only picture. We can choose any logo we want.
I think it is Zoom. Zoom does not quite like all that.
Because Zoom effect, so I cannot input it. But we just know that our device supports export report from software. After that, I think we can show our temperature screening terminal. I will go to our downstairs to show you our temperature screening terminal. Just wait a moment.
Okay, just you can just stop the sharing on your laptop screen so that you can share your phone screen again.
Okay,
and then while we're waiting for Damon to go downstairs to the temperature terminal to show you that interface, if you have any questions, please put them into the Q&A box, and we will, after the training is finished, we will keep the we'll keep the link open so that we can quickly answer all the questions. So please let us know if you have any questions. We are in the process of uploading these video recordings that we have for every Friday morning training. We will upload to YouTube. So at some point we will have one link where you'll be able to find all the previous recordings as well as the closest or the most recent one. Then it's easy for you to just get it from there, or you can maybe refer a customer or client to those links if they want to know something a little bit more about the specific devices or specific topic that we have discussed. Okay, just to let everyone know, Damon is not actually getting a drink there. It is just some hot water so that we can show you a higher temperature when the device detects a higher temperature. All right, so it looks like Damon is ready.
Okay, can
Damon,
you see the device
yes,
clearly?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, you can see this our 671 temperature screening terminal. If your temperature is okay, you can see it will. If your temperature is okay, it will let you for the blue contains. It will give us you 3 questions. First question is, have you experienced any of the following samples in the last 30 days? Also, have you traveled across regions in the last 21 days? Or have you been in contact with anyone that has been diagnosed with the coronavirus? So it will give you 3 questions, and you just input your name, such as I can input my name. Demo, and then you just choose the questions, then submit.
Authenticated.
Which will be authentication. Maybe the hot water not very hot. Don't know. Maybe let me just wait a minute. Let me just prepare some hot water. But first, we can see another temperature screening. It will show our temperature directly, and also this device can can connect with one indoor station. Our indoor station name model is KC001. You can see on the indoor station, you can see the temperature and the person directly. It will give you a person picture also with the temperature. And we can also call the we can also call the indoor station directly. It will be shown here.
Cancel the call. Authenticated.
This is another small model of our fast recognition terminal.
Authenticating failed.
Let me just maybe prepare some hot water again. Sorry. Maybe one more thing, I can show you our mental dot detector. You can see this is our mental dot detector, and let me just pause it. Maybe someone pause it down. Okay. Just waiting for the mental detector warm up. It need about if we want to make sure the temperature screening accuracy, we need to wait about maybe 30 minutes to make sure it's warm up. But if you only for the demonstration, it can only maybe warm up 1 or 2 minutes. It will be have the results.
Authenticated.
Yes.
At normal temperature. At normal temperature.
You see, if we put the hot water in front of our head, it will give abnormal temperature. Also for the mental dot, it will also pop up the abnormal temperature.
At normal temperature.
It will give a warning here. I think this is all the demonstration for our device today. Do you have some question? Maybe you can just input the chat box. We can answer the question for you.
Thank you very much, Damon. I think everyone has got a good idea of what the devices can do, how to configure it. I think it was actually you shown how easy it is to set up the access control Although we didn't do all the fancy, more advanced features, they are just as easy as the rest of the devices. So as the rest of the setup, like Damon did, even the basic one. So I think it's great. We've got a good idea. Like Damon said, if you have any questions, please put them into the Q&A box. We'll gladly answer them. And then thank you for joining us today. What we will do is the recordings of all these sessions we will put into, we will upload them soon to YouTube. So there'll be a standard link to all the videos so that you can download them or view them whichever way you'd like. So thank you very much for joining. As I mentioned, if you have any questions, please pop them in the Q&A box and we'll gladly answer them.